For the past year and a half, we have been heavily documenting sexual violence against Palestinian women and girls in these areas. And I want to lead by saying why it's really difficult for us to collect testimonies, and maybe that we don't have as much data as we believe we should have because of the impact and because of the scale of violence and sexual violence that we have documented. Basically starting with the unique social stigma that we have in Palestine, which I believe the Israeli forces know of that and they use it and they exploit it. And this is because even the terminology they use to violate and threaten with sexual violence and rape to men and women indicates their deep knowledge of the social stigma. And I like to read with the story of the Ajlouni family, which happened in July 2023. It's when Israeli forces invaded the home of this family and they asked women under the threat of large dogs to undress. It was female soldiers. And they made the women walk around the house naked. One organization reported that and they published that in a newspaper. And then the implication of that was quite catastrophic on the human rights, because we had an interview on the radio with one of the tribe leaders of Hebron, which is a prominent figure of the Hebron society. And the thing he said was, this was a scandal, and this human rights organization shouldn't have exposed these women in such matter. This is one of the reasons women don't talk, and it's also because they know that this would deny them from being able to move around. Their families would deny them to get to the university, to get to the schools, to get to their public daily life, if they know that they are likely to get sexually violated at a checkpoint, which we have been heavily documenting. One of the things that makes also men and women afraid to talk is the fear of reprisals and fear of retaliation by Israeli officers. We have been documenting tactics that have been used heavily to threaten these women. We have seen phone calls by prominent captains in the Israeli army calling these women on their phones, asking them not to share any information and saying things such as, I saw you at an interview yesterday. If you do this again, you're getting detained again. And we have also documented cases in which women were detained after sharing their testimonies with us. One of the tactics also is being summoned for interviews. They call a woman and they're like, come over, we need to talk to you, and they use that to intimidate these women. Most of the women who were released following the last deal were threatened not to share any information about what happened in there to human rights organizations or to journalists. So it's been impossible to document all of that. One of the things also that I think makes it difficult for women to identify sexual violence is the lack of knowledge and lack of terminology. So we have women telling us that we had inspection devices inserted inside of us without being able to identify that as rape or sexual violence. It's mainly because the Jordanian Penal Code applied in Palestine identifies rape as only being done by a man through his body, so they don't even consider that they have been violated sexually, or they don't talk about it as rape. We have been able to document sexual violence in detention centers. Rape was mainly done by Israeli female officers inserting objects inside genitals. We have also been able to document a case of rape, gang rape, by two different soldiers twice on a woman from Gaza in a detention center, and she said she was filmed during this process. We have also been able to document sexual violence at checkpoints. In Hebron, in the H2 area, we have famous checkpoints now that women know that if you go through this checkpoint, you're more likely to see genitals of Israeli soldiers at this certain checkpoint, making women afraid to even go to work or to even get to schools at this point. We have also been able to document sexual violence while home invasions, nude searches with the intention to humiliate and with the intention of breaking the person, making them get naked in front of family members and do humiliating poses for the Israeli soldiers to see and film.